Today's course of instruction is a continuation of our talk about citizenship and American government from the NS1 curriculum, Chapter 3, National Defense. Today we'll talk about the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and the other armed services, and how they work together and what their missions are. Our first objective is to describe the organization of the U.S. Navy. Our second objective is to discuss the roles of the Army and the Air Force. Just like always, we'll start out talking about some key terms. Some of these you will already know. The Joint Chiefs of Staff is a committee made up of senior officers from each branch of the armed services. They serve as the advisors to the President and the Secretary of Defense on military matters. The chairman and the vice chairman, and then the other members of the Joint Chiefs, are the senior service members of each armed force. Port security. These are the measures taken to protect a harbor or other marine facility against crime, espionage, or sabotage. A navigational aid is a lighthouse, a buoy, a beacon, a lantern, or other radio signals used to help ships navigate. Interdiction. This is the blocking, intercepting, or the preventing of the passage of some vessel into an area. Exploit. This is to employ to the greatest possible advantage, such as exploiting the weakness of an enemy. The mission of the U.S. Navy is to maintain, train, and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of winning wars, deterring aggression, and maintaining freedom of the seas. Please note we use the term naval forces, not Navy forces, because the mission of the U.S. Navy is for both the Navy and the Marine Corps. As we discussed in the previous course of instruction, the U.S. Navy is divided into two groups. The operating force, which is to win wars, deter aggression, and maintain freedom of the seas, and the shore establishment, which maintains, trains, and equips combat forces. Now we'll talk about the naval component commanders and the numbered fleet commanders. This, for the most part, will be a review of the last course of instruction. The Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, is located in Norfolk, Virginia, and is the naval component commander to U.S. NORTHCOM. Second Fleet is the numbered fleet commander for the east coast of the U.S. Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet, or PAC Fleet, is located in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and is the naval component commander for U.S. PACOM. Third Fleet is located in San Diego, California, and is the numbered fleet commander responsible for the eastern Pacific Ocean. Seventh Fleet is located in Yokosuka, Japan, and is the numbered fleet commander responsible for the western Pacific. The Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Europe and Africa, is located in Naples, Italy, and is the naval component commander for both U.S. European Command and U.S. Africa Command. Sixth Fleet is the numbered fleet commander for the eastern Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. The Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, is located in Manama, Bahrain, and is the naval component commander to the Commander, U.S. CENTCOM. Fifth Fleet is the numbered fleet commander and is responsible for the Red Sea, Arabian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, and the Western Indian Ocean. The Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Southern Command, is located in Jacksonville, Florida, and is the naval component commander to U.S. SOUTHCOM. Fourth Fleet is the numbered fleet commander for the Caribbean, the Western Pacific, and the Eastern Atlantic Oceans around Central and South America, excluding U.S. territories. The Commander, U.S. Fleet Cyber Command, is located at Fort Meade, Maryland, and is the naval component commander to U.S. CyberCom. 10th Fleet is the numbered fleet command responsible for cyber operations, electronic warfare, information operations, and signal intelligence capabilities and missions across the cyber, electromagnetic, and space domains. Below the numbered fleet commanders are the Navy Type Commanders, or the TICOMs. Type commanders control warfare training cycles. The operational control of these forces will shift from the type commanders to the fleet commanders for operations. Naval forces are categorized by their functional type. The type commanders include the Commander, Naval Air Forces, who is responsible for aircraft carriers and aircraft squadrons. The Commander, Submarine Force, who is responsible for all submarines. Commander, Naval Surface Force, responsible for all the surface forces, and Commander Naval Special Warfare, who was responsible for the SEALs, explosive ordnance disposal, and expeditionary warfare. Another operational force of the Navy is the Military Sealift Command. MSC provides ocean transport of equipment, fuel, supplies, and ammunition to U.S. forces worldwide during peacetime or wartime. Military Sealift Command is the Navy component commander to United States Transportation Command. The purpose of the Operational Test and Evaluation Forces is to inspect and assess any new systems to be employed by naval forces. U.S. Naval Reserve Forces can be called upon to serve on active duty and operating forces in times of war or national emergency. ComNav Res 4 is headquartered in New Orleans, Louisiana. As discussed earlier, the primary responsibility of the shore establishment is to support the operating forces. The shore establishment's responsibilities fall into 7 major areas. 1. Repair and maintain ships, submarines, aircraft, and related equipment. 2. Provide naval communication stations that provide secure and reliable communications to the fleet. 3. The recruiting and training of naval personnel. 4. The collection, analysis, and dissemination of intelligence and meteorological support information. 5. The storage and procurement of repair parts, fuel, and munitions. 6. Providing medical and dental health care to naval personnel. The Navy provides its medical and dental health care for both the Navy and the Marine Corps. 7. The maintenance and operation of air bases. As we previously discussed, we are a naval force, meaning both the Navy and the Marine Corps. This is the relationship of the Marine Corps to the Navy. The Chief of Naval Operations is the senior military officer of the Navy and reports to the Secretary of the Navy. The Commandant of the Marine Corps is the senior Marine and also reports to the Secretary of the Navy. The Marine Corps is organized into 2 major commands: Fleet Marine Force Pacific, based out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and Fleet Marine Force Atlantic, out of Norfolk, Virginia. The Marine Corps works collaboratively with the Navy. We support each other in many ways. The senior military officer of the Marine Corps is the Commandant of the Marine Corps. The Commandant directs the operations of the 3 combat divisions, 3 aircraft wings, and all other supporting units of the Marine Corps. Who is the current Commandant of the Marine Corps? General David Berger. The Coast Guard is the smallest of the 8 U.S. Armed Forces. The Coast Guard during peacetime falls under the Department of Homeland Security, but during times of war can be transferred to the Department of Defense and the Department of the Navy. The Coast Guard is led by the Commandant of the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's responsibilities include law enforcement of U.S. waters, port security, safety and maintenance of navigational aids, search and rescue at sea, interdiction of illegal drugs at sea, pollution control, and immigration control at sea. The U.S. Merchant Marine functions under the Department of Transportation's Maritime Administration. The Merchant Marine regulates rates and practices of ocean shipping lines, operates ocean-going vessels. Though not part of the Navy, during wartime, the Merchant Marine carries the military supplies and people necessary for the armed forces. The Army is the oldest branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. The Second Continental Congress adopted existing Continental Army in 1775 and formed committees to draft rules and regulations. After the Constitution was ratified, the Department of War was established as part of the President's Cabinet. Later, the Department of War became the Department of Defense in 1947. The mission of the Army is to provide forces capable of conducting prompt, sustained combat on land, as well as stability and reconstruction operations as required. They are to be ready to defend vital national interest at home and overseas. Although similar to the U.S. Air Force's mission, They vary greatly in their methods. The Air Force began in the early 20th century as the Army Air Corps. The National Security Act of 1947 created the independent department of the Air Force with its own funding and broader mission. The Air Force organizes, trains, equips forces for offense, defense, and reconnaissance in the sky or space. The mission of the Air Force is to defend by controlling and exploiting air and space over hostile nations, maintain security of vital areas of national interest, interdict potential hostile aircraft, operate U.S. military satellites, and support U.S. ground forces through bombing and air defense. The U.S. Space Force is the newest branch of the armed forces. It was established in December 20th, 2019, and is led by the Chief of Space Operations. Space Force organizes, trains, and equips Space Force in order to protect U.S. and Allied interest in space and to provide space capabilities to the joint force. Its responsibilities include developing and acquiring military space systems, maturing the military doctrine for space power, and organizing space forces, called Guardians. As of the beginning of this year, this is the breakdown of the number of people in uniform in the military forces. The Army has just over 476,000 soldiers. The Marine Corps has 185,415 Marines. The Navy has 336,978 sailors. The Air Force has 320,812 airmen. And the Space Force has 4,000 Guardians. The total active duty uniformed presence in the military is 1,323,205 as of the beginning of 2021. While the mission of the various branches of the military may differ, the Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force, and Merchant Marine defend the liberties of every American,